What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Football Talk with Hawk. Here we go. Today, football news. Don't want to wear out the coaching stuff just yet because, believe it or not, as of right now, we are 10 days away, maybe only 9, from finding out what the coaching landscape changes will be. 2023 is drawing to a close. 2024 is right around the corner. And we have set up for us a final couple weeks of football that's going to have a lot of implications in it. So let's start with the big story. Russell Wilson benched in Denver. Benched. He's a better quarterback than Jarrett Stidham. Let's just be clear. He may not be a fit in most offensive coaches' systems. He may not. There has to be that conversation, I think. Offensive coaches talk. Offensive coaches are friends. They glean off of each other. They take certain things that the other is doing and incorporate them into what they do. So what is it? What will work? Why hasn't it worked? What's the future look like for Denver? Well, here's the reality. Russell Wilson already has $37 million guaranteed. If he doesn't pass a physical, he gets another $37 million. So at this point in time, whether the NFL Players Association appreciates it or not, once again, teams are protecting their business. Denver has basically foregone the back door into the playoffs. They needed a lot of help. They're mathematically alive, but they needed a lot of help to get in. It's plausible. They've got games against the Chargers and against the Raiders. It was very plausible for the Denver Broncos to potentially sneak in as the 7th seed. Do I think they're a dangerous 7th seed? Well, I mean, they beat the Chiefs. If they had to play the Chiefs again, are you going to pick the Chiefs by a ton against that defense? I mean, let's just be honest here. The Raiders didn't have to do anything on offense. They beat them with defense. The Chiefs aren't scoring enough points. You can beat them with defense. So I do think there is a conversation that could be had about the fact that the Broncos would have been a dangerous team for the Chiefs to play. Now, what does this do for the rest of everything? Well, like I said yesterday, their draft positioning could potentially improve drastically. There's a chance they get a top 10 pick. It would be 10th. So let's go top 12 because I don't know what the tiebreakers are going to be outside of that. So there is a legit shot if they lose their last 2 games, and at 7-10, that they will be the 12th pick, 11th pick, 10th pick. I believe 4 quarterbacks go in the top 15. That's what I believe. I think Jayden Daniels snuck in there. I think Michael Penix, Bo Nix are going to be the one that you're looking at probably 4th and 5th. I like Bo Nix. I really do. His accuracy, his leadership, but he does have a lot of tread on the tires. He does. The problem is one of the guys that didn't have a lot of tread on the tires, Anthony Richardson, he also came into the league and then basically got injured doing nothing. Concussion, I will not scoff at whatsoever. I don't scoff at concussions. But the shoulder injury it was a regular tackle. The guy didn't land on him hard. The guy didn't plant him hard. It's a regular tackle. He started 1 year for Florida. Let's just be honest about this. He started 1 year for Florida, gets drafted 4th overall, gets injured his first year on a regular play. He's got no tread on the tires. He's got plenty of tread on the tires. Yet he couldn't stay healthy. Year number 1. CJ Stroud is in concussion protocol. Once again, concussions I do not count. Bo Nix has played a long time. He's got the experience. He may only be a 10-year quarterback. That's very possible. I think, in my eyes, Bo Nix looks a lot like Jeff Garcia. He's going to be a leader. You're going to win games with him. You surround him with talent, and he can take you to a championship game. Depending on the strengths of your team, a Super Bowl. Penix Jr., I think health has to be the number one thought process here. I am still outrageously upset with how injured he was in Indiana and how healthy he was for Washington. Penix Jr. was the quarterback that Indiana University needed. He kept being injured. He goes to Washington, hasn't gotten injured, but you gotta wonder. Now, he did bulk up a little bit in Washington. A little bit. Drake May is a big guy, not really worried about him too terribly much. Jayden Daniels is tall, not that big. Caleb Williams is short. So what do you do if you're the Broncos? You're moving off Russell Wilson. What do you do? What's the play here? Is it Kirk Cousins? Is it Justin Fields? I don't think so. You're not going to have to give up much capital to get him, but, what's the play? What's the plan? The quarterback I'm kind of waiting on right now is Jordan Travis. Who's going to bring him in after the injury? Who's going to take a flyer on him in the second, third, or is he going to go in the first? Joe Milton from Tennessee. Listen, this guy is not outrageously accurate. Joe Milton, I don't believe, is a franchise quarterback in the slightest. But he does stand in there. He stands tall. He's a big quarterback, big frame. He's going to be somebody's backup. And backups are starting. So we'll come back to the Denver Broncos in a second. Let's talk about the quarterback switches here. So Russell Wilson benched Jarrett Stidham starting. Tommy DeVito benched Tyrod Taylor starting. Sam Howell benched Jacoby Brissett starting. Nick Mullins starting in Minnesota. Trevor Lawrence may actually get this week off because the Jaguars may have finally figured out that, hey, our star quarterback needs a game off to heal up. This isn't working. He's not 100%. He's not throwing the ball hard off of his foot. He doesn't have the oomph behind the ball right now, and it's not his fault. You rushed him back against Cleveland. You rushed him against Tampa Bay. It should have been Beathard, but no, you forgot to take care of your star quarterback. And that's as simple as it gets. So what do you do if you're Denver? Sean Payton can make a lot of issues disappear. Height, ability. All he wants you to be is accurate. If you are accurate, he can work with you. That's it. If you're accurate with the football and follow his plan on offense, he will help protect you. He will protect what you need to do. He will protect your look. He will protect exactly how you need to play. And he will give you what he gave Drew Brees, the opportunity to be a star in the offense. Drew Brees, without Sean Payton, does not have those seasons. Drew Brees, Mickey Loomis, Sean Payton worked so well together. It was ridiculous. That's what Sean Payton is trying to get again. So let's go back to the Broncos. What does this do? Well, honestly, if I'm the ownership, I'm more worried about the trend that Payton has. Like, this is the trend I don't like. Constantly creating dead cap for me to have to kick down the road and then have to pay for once he's gone. That I don't like. They're clean, no dead cap, and now because he doesn't like Wilson. Yeah, it's a personality clash. It's a fit clash. Russell doesn't want to do everything that he's told. Reality is, Russell, you haven't earned that ability. You didn't win the games, and most people know this. You were good. You were accurate. So is Kirk Cousins. He hasn't won the big game. He hasn't won big games. You're 1-1 in Super Bowls. Yeah. But the reality is, you need help. Javonte Williams is a really good back. Jerry Jeudy, Courtland Sutton. They are definitely capable receivers. So what's the problem? He's missing throws. His big throws in Seattle were the big rainbow arc throws. The arm's starting to leave. He's a baseball player too. The arm's starting to leave faster than it would with just an NFL quarterback. I know, I know. You can call me crazy, but baseball takes a different throwing motion than football. And the years of playing baseball, plus the years of playing football, aged his arm quicker. That's all I'm saying. He doesn't have the same arm. So where's a good fit for him? I was reading, I heard maybe potentially Tennessee if they want to take a flyer on him. I love Levis. Levis has people really excited down there. Levis is in every fan's projected starting lineup for next year, and all they're doing is adding offensive line and receiving pieces around it. Will Levis is going to win you plenty of games. Will Levis is currently covering up for a lot of inabilities in the Titans team, primarily Derrick Henry. They played that Colts team straight up, and Levis was a huge part of it because he's willing to take the hits. He's willing to play that spot. He got rolled up horribly at the end of that Texan game. Horribly rolled up on in that overtime. It looked like it hurt. It looked like it hurt bad. I didn't like the look of it. The way he was stretched out, I didn't like it. But let's be honest. If they just protect him, they start Tannehill, which they did. This week, if they start Tannehill again, protect him. Listen, Levis has done better than Tannehill was. Tannehill could do nothing. Levis comes in, the team looks different. They play harder. They play better. But you don't have a bunch of playmakers on that team. Derrick Henry needs a change of scenery because he looks awful. Yeah, last week he had a good week last week. Not going to take that away. But that was it. He didn't crack 100 yards. He threw the ball better than Tannehill did. But that was it. I think that's where we're at right now. I really do. Tennessee could be a fit, but I wouldn't. I would love Levis and load up on free agents. Washington was said to be another place. Now, if they get Bill Belichick, I could see that happening. Josh McDaniels may want Wilson. I don't know. What about the Raiders? Do the Raiders take a flyer on him? I know they're probably cutting Garoppolo. I don't know what the cap looks like completely with them if they cut Garoppolo, what the dead cap looks like. Like, I don't know how many suitors there really are for Russell Wilson. And I don't know what the Broncos are going to do. This one's a really muddy picture. So I'm going to be excited to see how it plays out. All right, next bit of news. Jair Alexander, cornerback, all-pro cornerback for the Green Bay Packers, is suspended for one game for conduct detrimental to the team. Now, for those of you who don't know, I will explain what happened on Sunday. Jair Alexander is not a captain for the Packers. He is, but he isn't. He's not one of the captains that are supposed to be on the field for the coin toss. He was on the field for the coin toss. He went out there, Somehow he ends up next to the ref and calls the coin flip, heads or tails, gets it right, and here's where the screw up happened. When he is asked, "You've won the toss, what do you choose?" he said kick. Now, time out, and let me explain this. Growing up, for those of us who played Madden, back in the day, we had three options: kick, receive, or defend. You would never choose defend. You'd always choose kick or receive. In current Madden, it's only kick or receive, and then it's defend. Which way do you want to defend whatever it is? In the NFL, that is not how it works. It is receive or defer. And you are deferring your preference to the second half, giving the other team their choice in the first half, which is going to be to accept the ball. So receive. When you say kick, you are essentially giving your right to ever receive a half kickoff, whether the first half or second half, you're forfeiting that right. So the Panthers, if it was not for the graciousness and professionalism of the ref, we bang on refs all the time. This one deserves a lot of credit because he kept the game and the integrity of the game and protected Jair Alexander, protected Matt LaFleur. He protected them from a blunder of all blunders that would have been still in the news today, and it would have had 1,000 memes about it. Because if he accepts Jair Alexander saying kick, instead of asking him, "You mean defer?" he said kick again. He goes, "You mean defer?" And then Alexander finally gets it and goes, "Yes, defer." He goes, "Okay," and gives the option to Carolina, which of course they accept and receive the ball. Coaches tell the refs their plan before the game even starts, before the coin is even flipped. The refs know let's just say, the refs knew if the Packers won the toss, they were going to defer. They knew if Carolina won the toss, they were going to receive. Or they were going to defer as well. Either way, the refs knew. So him knowing what the coach had said questions Jair Alexander's wording to make sure the wording gets correct. Jair never should have been out there. He never should have been around it. He almost cost the team a possession in the game. And as much as it bugs me a little bit, but reality-wise, Belichick, you're benched. Parcells, you're benched. Jimmy Johnson, you're benched. Let's just be honest here, guys. Suspending him isn't something that's bad. You messed up and you almost cost the team a possession. You can reason it away and say, "But I didn't." So what if you didn't? You could have. It was bad. It was bad. So that is what happened with Jair Alexander. Okay, moving on. Some more news. We got injury news. TJ Hawkinson out. KJ Osborne is looking like he's going to have a bigger role because Jordan Addison for Sunday Night Football against the Packers really isn't trending in the right direction. He's probably going to be out. Trevor Lawrence, shoulder injury now. He's probably going to be out, but he also still has the ankle injury. That hasn't gone anywhere. They signed Matt Barkley, I believe it was, off of the Giants practice squad. So they now have two quarterbacks. I believe they're going to start CJ, have Barkley back him up, and they're going to let Lawrence sit. Now, this weekend, there is no Monday Night Football for the last 2 weeks of the year. The Ravens and 49er game was a really good ending to what the year has been. Monday Night Football has not left us wanting most of the year. Most of the year. Seattle beats Philly. Tennessee beats Miami. The Giants and Packers was a great game. We've had a really good end of the year, and now we're going into where it is Sunday football. We got the Saturday night game, Detroit at Dallas. The next episode, we're going to do our Week 17 preview as we look ahead at what this weekend is. I guess I can kind of do, since this will be Thursday afternoon when you guys are listening to this, we can look at what the Jets and Browns game could be. Listen, I thought the Jets were going to lose to the Commanders. They were home. They came out on fire. Brissett comes in. Brissett lights the torches. The Commanders come back, take the lead. Ron Rivera's defense doesn't stop them. We went over that, and the Jets kick a game-winning field goal with Greg Zuerlein. Okay. Jets on the road at Cleveland. You know what? Kevin Stefanski is my coach of the year. My other coach of the year would be, if they end up winning the division, my other coach of the year would be DeMeco Ryans. You go from the second pick of the draft to division champion, DeMeco Ryans. That cupboard was bare. I am standing on the fact that Shane Steichen did not take over a horrible team. He didn't have to do anything. The offensive pieces were already there. He did nothing. He didn't bring in a bunch of new people. He didn't draft a bunch of new people. Downs was our draft pick. Let's just be honest. Blake Freeland hasn't really been that great at right tackle. He's a rookie, but Freeland has not been great at right tackle for Braden Smith being out. Steichen does not deserve Coach of the Year. DeMeco Ryans, the way that team has played, Stroud getting that draft pick, nailing that draft pick, is huge. Tank Dell, huge. The subtle moves, huge. The Devin Singletary move now looks absolutely genius. Dameon Pierce, Devin Singletary, that's a good 1-2 punch, and the Texans have used it well. Listen, I like the Texans. I love young, scrappy teams. That's why I like the Falcons. Young, scrappy teams are exciting to watch, and that's what you have. But this Thursday night game, the Jets versus the Browns, I don't even know what to tell you. I think the Browns should win. I think the Browns do win, more than likely. It's Thursday night football, so anything can happen. But the Saturday night game of Detroit versus Dallas, now that's an interesting game because Detroit is coming in and they play tough. And they've got a big enough offensive line to move those Cowboys off the ball. If they can run and Goff doesn't have to throw into that secondary without play action, they have a chance to pull that upset. And yes, it'll be an upset, but it will be huge because winning gives them a legit shot at the number 1 seed. It would take the 49ers losing to the Rams in Week 18. I don't think they're going to lose to the Commanders. The Rams is a division game. I know Shanahan has had McVay's number for a while. I don't care. The Rams are on a heater. They're playing really well. The 49ers kind of just had their look in the mirror game. But if they don't come ready to play and Brock Purdy gets pressured and he gets down, they could do it. Dan Campbell is probably talking to his guys about eating a lot of kneecap soup this week. You're going to Dallas. Home Dallas is different than road Dallas. Home Dallas is good. Home Dallas is really good. Your back end for the Lions is weak. It's not a great pass rush. It's not great linebackers. But the Cowboys don't have a run game. So if the Lions can just rush 4, blitz a 5th every once in a while, do the corner blitz. I loved the corner blitzes that the Falcons and the Raiders brought over the weekend. Were so perfectly timed. Corner blitzes are underutilized in the NFL. Has anybody ever realized this? The Falcons, the Steelers were great at this. The Patriots were great at this. The Chargers with Schottenheimer were great at this. Has anybody else noticed that those corner blitzes are less and less and less with these new, hybrid position guys like Parsons, Josh Allen? Like, they're not putting their hand on the ground. And these slot guys aren't blitzing the same. Well, the Ravens did. The Ravens got an interception off of it. Falcons did. They got a sack. The Raiders did. They got a sack. So, scrappy teams are a lot of fun. The Texans are a lot of fun. The Lions are a lot of fun. They're a young team. They're excited. They're not used to this. How are they going to handle the pressure? Saturday night game. What are they going to do? We're about to find out. Dan Campbell, I believe, will have the boys ready to play. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, primarily because it's a dome. We're not playing in elements. So I think it's going to be a really good game, and I can't wait to see it. All right, guys, here we go. Another week. A little bit shorter podcast. Just wanted to cover some of the big football news. I don't want to wear everything out yet because we're going to be talking about free agency plenty over the next couple months. We're going to talk about the draft plenty over the next couple months. We're going to talk about the head coaches a lot in the next 10 to 14 days. As more and more things come out, right now there is multiple reports, 3 of them that I read, that say cupboard being bare is affecting a lot of what's going on right now. The cupboard being bare is affecting a lot of how people are looking at what's happening and what's going on. I said it before and I'll say it again. I don't think the cupboard's bare. I just think you got to go to different places. That's where I'm at with it. I don't think it's bare. I just think you got to look in a couple different spots. That's where I think we're at. All right, guys, I appreciate you stopping by today. Thank you so much for listening. If you're on Spotify, thank you. If you're on YouTube, make sure to hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, and I will be back tomorrow with the Week 17 but it's not the last week. Second to last week of the NFL season. Guys, thank you so much. Until tomorrow, this is Hawk, and I'm out.